It's the freaking weekend. Everyone's going to have me some fun. Hey, McAfee has nothing to apologize. Ron Rivera is out of his damn mind. I mean, you got to get that woke guy out of there. Hey, let's understand something. We've always known Shaq is a fraud, and Trevor Bauer speaks and should be allowed back in Major League Baseball. I got that. I got bets. I got screen caps. I got mayors. I got all kind of stuff coming up right now as Don't At Me starts right now. I'm looking like a priest, by the way. Hey, don't at me. I'm very papal today. See what I did right there? A little priest action. And no, I'm not going to make fun of Catholic priests. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I love the Catholic Church, so don't at me about it, people. Hey, McAfee has nothing to apologize. I'm seeing all these little twerps talking about, well, McAfee's complicit. ESPN's got a McAfee problem. No, you know what ESPN's got? ESPN's got a gold mine on their hands with Pat McAfee. ESPN's got a Tuesday news drop like no other. Every time Aaron Rodgers comes on, like Aaron Rodgers could cure cancer. And next thing you know, all the little media twerps will be all over his ass. They'll be like, hey, Aaron, yeah, well, you really didn't do it. See, here's the media playbook with liberals. Rip your ass, rip your ass, rip your ass. And then when you fire back at them, guess what? They all become, I mean everyone, even our little guy Gigi Doyle becomes a victim. I'm a victim. You can't come at me. Yeah, I got two words for you. My ass. Of course we can come back at you. Jimmy Kimmel came back at. He came at Aaron Rodgers hard, tinfoil hat, too many concussions. He got a little personal with Aaron Rodgers, and all Aaron Rodgers said is, hey man, guys like Jimmy Kimmel are hoping that the Epstein files don't come out. Well, guess what? They did. Kimmel wasn't on, so in a way, Kimmel is vindicated. But I talked to numerous lawyers, and not one person, not one, said that there is a leg to stand on for Kimmel suing Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee. It's crap. It's garbage. McAfee has nothing to apologize. Let me tell you what McAfee does every day, and I was just texting with him because I just put out a tweet with a video saying he doesn't have to apologize for nothing. He just sent it back to me saying, laughing. But the fact of the matter is there is nothing that Pat has to apologize for. Not one damn thing. And if little media twerp at the Indy Star, little media twerp with USA Today tries to take the high road, they got no high road. They are disgusting, personal human beings. Disgusting people. Don't even try that crap with me. No. He's not disgusting, but he's America's wokest coach, Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera coaches the Commanders, and by all accounts, the Commanders stink. Is it always the coach's fault? No, of course not. The players are highly paid. They stink. The general manager is highly paid. He stinks. But Rivera pissed us off because he got mad at Jack Del Rio for comments that he made that weren't woke. And Del Rio pissed me off because Del Rio is a great player, was a great player. Rivera was a nice backup. Del Rio was a great player. Del Rio looked like Buzz Lightyear coming out of USC, and he took it from Rivera. And then ultimately, because this is what little Libby coaches do as well, fired Del Rio. But on his way out, he's not out yet, but Black Monday is coming. And Black Monday is going to hit Ron Rivera right in the face, I gotta believe. Well, Del Rio thinks, ladies and gentlemen, that, well, they're in a better place. They're not in a better place. They're in a horrible place. We'd like to think we're in a better place. Well, I know you'd like to think you're in a better place. We'd all like to think you're in a better place. Probably a fair way to say it. I most certainly do appreciate my time here, and we'll see what happens. What we've done with the culture, I think that was one of the things that someone asked me the same question. I said the biggest thing, more so than anything else, I think it's kind of where we are. Yeah, what he's saying is don't worry about wins and losses. It's the culture that I've provided here. It's the culture of things that I think are really, well, here's the deal with this in coaching. You can't really quantify it. There's nobody that can walk in there, put a thermometer in and say, yeah, that culture is great. The way you see a culture is wins and losses. And frankly, Ron Rivera has been a disaster. Now, basically everybody has been a disaster. Jay Gruden was a disaster. If you worked for the D.C. team, the Washington Redskins, I don't want to hear about Commanders. The Washington Redskins, guess what? You probably have been involved in a god-awful culture. Daniel Snyder's been well documented, new ownership group with Josh Harris. Probably will set that right. But it feels to me there are certain organizations that need a reboot. Let me ask you, what organizations are those? That's a great question. Feels like the whole thing at Indiana basketball needs a reboot. I don't know if I'm telling the truth or not. I'm not inside there. It just seems like the Bears have kind of come out. It feels like the Carolina Panthers need a complete reboot. I don't think the Colts need a reboot, but it would behoove the Colts to win this game at home against the Texans on Saturday night and make their way into playoff. It would behoove them bigly. Big time it would behoove them. But other than that, there aren't a lot of teams. We'll see what the Raiders do. And what the Raiders do, I'm not sure. Who knows? I mean, Antonio Pierce, African-American dude, likes to wear earrings in his ears and all that kind of stuff. So he's a hip cat that the players obviously are going to like. We'll see what they do there. The question about guys like Antonio Pierce isn't what you see on the court or field. It's what is going on in the background. And the fact of the matter is, who knows? Is he a worker? Is he a guy an owner in Mark Davis, who has been around winning? I mean, make no mistake. He was there when his dad was running things and they were winning some. Is he the guy that Mark Davis feels like they can go forward with? I don't know, but I know this. Black Monday's coming. Black Monday, it be a coming. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think it's a fact yet, but the truth of the matter is it would be very, very difficult, I think, for the Commanders, no matter what their culture is, to keep Ron Rivera. And if I were a guy that owned a team, I would look really hard at the general manager. Now, in Indianapolis, you think I was kidding you about a 10-year plan with our guy Chris Ballard. I wasn't kidding. He's on a 10-year plan. They lose this game, he's not going to be fired, or at least history says he's not going to be fired. Chargers feel like they need a reboot. New England, look, you're not allowed to say it, except you are now. New England feels like they need a reboot. They just do. For a minute, it felt like maybe the Steelers needed a reboot, but they ain't rebooting. And, of course, the Arizona Cardinals, they need a reboot. The Arizona Cardinals, I don't know where you go here. You said the other day, at least the head coach did, that Kyler Murray is your franchise quarterback. But it just feels like to me, if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I got to figure this thing out. I just kind of sort of do. Guys on the clock, maybe. Maybe it's Atlanta. Don't know. Could be. Seems like it might be. What's going to happen with the Giants? Everybody was all happy with the bold guy, the fat guy, who would yell and scream, and now 5-11 later, I'm not so sure everybody's so damn happy. Not sure they're not. Pete Carroll. Feels like Pete Carroll's been there 110 years. They need a reboot there? Don't know. New Orleans is 8-8. New Orleans is playing for a conference title or a division title. We'll see what happens there. Does the Vikings? I don't think the Vikings do. The Bears are now 7-9. I would keep the Bears on the same track, see what happens, and I'm not the biggest Eberflus guy. But Black Monday is coming, and I do think it is going to be led by Ron Rivera. It would shock me, and I think it would shock you too, if on Black Monday, are we allowed to call it Black Monday? Do we have to call it African American Monday? Is there something we must call it? Is Jamel Hill going to be mad if we say Black Monday? Is that racist? I don't know, and I really don't care, but I just thought of that. Truth of the matter is, I don't think Belichick's going to be there Black Monday. I think Belichick, when he goes, there'll be a thing. It won't be a thing from him, but it won't be like a news drop when everybody else gets fired. Maybe nobody gets fired. Hell, I don't know. After receiving the harshest penalty in Major League Baseball history for basically doing nothing other than having rough sex with a woman who has proven to be unreliable, has proven to be a jock chaser, Trevor Bauer, he's making his pitch to Major League Baseball. He wants back in. He's cleaned up. He's cut his hair. Trevor Bauer, no different than Clarissa Thompson. They think they're the cool kid. They think they're untouchable. They do whatever it is they want to do. And next thing you know, when they get sliced up, oh, wait a second, we gotta figure this out. He says he's grown. He wants an opportunity, a second opportunity. And he exclusively spoke to our friend Charlie on his redemption tour. Let's hear from Trevor Bauer.
I'm a business owner now. I have employees. I've learned a lot of lessons through management that I can't imagine what my reaction would be if an employee of mine came out publicly and said some of the things about me that I said about Rob Manfred, the CEO of baseball. So, I look back on those comments with a lot of embarrassment and regret, and that certainly made the situation a lot harder on me than it needed to be. And I'm trying to repair all those relationships. I'm trying to have those conversations with people. I've made those adjustments in my personal life. Just trying to do the second half of my career better than I did the first half.
Here's the thing, and if I were Rob Manfred, I would bring Bauer in. I would. Look, you're fighting for your life. You are. You're fighting for your life when you have somebody making false accusations, which they proved to be. I mean, there's been no charges. They looked at him, said not a chance. And I would personally, this is just me, I would go, all right, let's have a chat. Let's talk about this. Why did you make those comments? Now, if I'm Manfred, I got to put my big boy pants on too. I mean, let's be honest. I got to say, hey, look, I'm in a position where I'm going to get criticized. I'm in a position where, you know what? My decisions are not going to be easy, and they are going to cost jobs, reputations. I would be very sensitive to that. And I would not care if Trevor Bauer talked bad about me. I'd be like, all right, well, I got to get over it. I got to get over it. That's fine. Put your big boy pants on, or you can make it personal. But it's not personal. Bauer felt like he was attacked. Bauer felt like, you know what? I got to fight back. No idea who made the playoff format, but Rob is responsible for releasing it. So I'll direct this to you, Rob Manfred. So he's mad at Manfred about a bunch of things. Your proposal is absurd for too many reasons to type on Twitter and proves you have absolutely no clue about baseball. You're a joke. That's what he said about Manfred. Now look, all right, that's not a great thing to say, but you're the commissioner of baseball. And don't be a liberal. Don't put a guy with the biggest suspension ever, which you did. Don't become a victim and put a guy out of baseball because he came back at you. Don't be Greg Doyle. Don't be these people. Don't be any of these guys. Be bigger. You're supposed to if you're going to criticize, then you get criticized. It's the way it is. I mean, what can I tell you? All right. Here is another clip from Trevor Bauer on his redemption tour.
We spoke, and you told me the sex was consensual.
Yes.
You believe that?
100%. I've never sexually assaulted anyone, never will, never have. It's not who I am as a person. It's been excruciating the last 2.5 years being seen that way, because that's not my character. But I've never sexually assaulted anyone.
Well, Trevor, there are allegations from other women. I think there are 3. Are they lying too?
Some of those things are still playing out, but we will prevail in all of those. There's one outstanding lawsuit, but we're gonna win that, just like we've won everything else.
There you go. So, hey, look, I don't know. All I know is this. There's nothing been proven in court. There's not even a SIP. There's nothing so far. Now, maybe there's something in Manfred. I would assume whatever he did was based on more information than either Trevor Bauer, his attorney, or anybody is putting out there. I would assume that. I mean, look, I don't know, but that's my assumption, and I think that's an accurate assumption. But I don't know. and neither do you. I got to make sure this continues on here. I don't know why our internet dropped a little bit. At least it did on my side. I just got it fixed. Oh, man. You know what? You know you got a farce when Reverend Al is in the house. You know you got complete Bolshevik when Reverend Al shows up. Jesse Jackson, father and kids out of wedlock. Reverend Al. Oh, man, I don't pay my taxes, but I stay at the Four Seasons. I smoke mega cigars. I'm the man. All I got to do is say race. And guess what? Yeah, here we go. The Reverend Al Sharpton. He is a Baptist minister, political, civil rights, and social justice activist. There you go. All right, Reverend Al. Reverend Al leads protest against Bill Ackman, who was very, very vocal about Claudine Gay. He's picketing Bill Ackman's place. Look, if I don't know what Bill Ackman does, but I'll support him. The National Action Network will lead a picket line every Thursday outside hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman's office to protest his campaign against Claudine Gay and DEI measures. Good, you protest your ass off. See, when guys like Reverend Al protest anymore, even African Americans go, "Oh, it's a capacity. You're such a you're a meme. You're a fraud." But when he's out there protesting, and he probably pays people to do it with him. Man, our friend, we got to get her back on, Sage Steele. She not having none of Reverend Al. Sage is like, hold the phone here, people. Reverend Al, my ass. Intelligent people understand that Reverend Al is full of crapola. Let's hear from Sage Steele.
I just wish he would go away. Maybe 50 years ago. Right now, he is the wrong person to be speaking for anything. Remember Martin Luther King, Mr. Sharpton? I think you do. Judge me by the content of my character, not the color of my skin. And what happened with Claudine Gay? There are some character issues, which is why she was forced to step down. There's so many things that are disappointing to me, Jesse, about this story. And I think just from today's news, better late than never, I guess, right? And the fact that it took the plagiarism instead of what happened with Elise Stefanik is disturbing in its own right. But when you look through the entire letter that Harvard sent to its community, eventually towards the end, they mentioned, okay, she has taken responsibility for some mistakes. But what did they do that stood out to me the most? They denounced the racist attacks that were apparently coming Claudine Gay's way, as they should. Any racist attacks should be denounced. They did that so clearly and swiftly in that letter. What about Claudine Gay herself? When she was being asked, how many times by Elise Stefanik? Is it wrong? Do you denounce any anti-Semitic comments, any about the genocide of Jews students on your campus? And she couldn't even answer that clearly. She refused to answer it.
See, I think that's immediately you fire her. And, that's pretty simple. You're putting Jewish students on your campus in jeopardy, and you've proven you don't have leadership, and that's exactly what Sage Steele was saying. Look, when you are in a leadership position, you're not leading the woke, you're not leading the conservative, you're leading the institution. And the number one thing now, which I'll never understand, is we must have a safe, wholesome, nurturing environment for students. What? You do? Look, if I wanted a safe, wholesome, nurturing environment when I went to college, guess what I'd have done? I'd have stayed home. My mommy would have been safe, nurturing. That would have been the environment. I went to college to get down, baby. Play a little basketball, have some fun, and not cause anyone any problems. Get an education. I didn't need somebody making it safe and nurturing. Well, that's the world we're living in now. Okay, I went to college 100 years ago. Truth of the matter is, not only did Claudine Gay not make Harvard safe, she made it more dangerous. Not only by not speaking by not speaking against anti-Semitism, she opened up anti-Semitism on her own campus, and we saw it, making it unsafe. two things for Jewish kids and anybody that opposed the anti-Semitic folk. That's how they work. We've all seen it. You oppose us, we're vicious towards you. So good for Sage Steele saying that man right there should go away. 50 years ago, maybe. Now, he's just an old man grifter taking Ozempic, getting his stomach stapled so that he can look a little bit skinnier. He's a joke. He's a mess. He's a train wreck. He's low character. Look, if he ever decided that he was going to pay his tax bill like the rest of us do, then maybe I would give him some credit. But the pictures are too numerous of this fraud out there staying at the Four Seasons, I'm sure on somebody else's dime. You used to have to pay him and Jesse Jackson. How do you think they made their money? You used to have to pay Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton to come in and lead a rally for you. Hey, man, 35 grand and we'll be there. That dude comes in now. Guess what? Bill Ackman, you're the man. More Al Sharpton protests, the more we like the people he is protesting against. That's racist. What's racist about it? I don't know what to tell you. That's the world. As Sage Steele, quoting Martin Luther King, which we talk about all the time on this show, we will always, not sometimes, we will always judge folk by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. We treat everybody equal, but not special. That gets racism charges against me. You treat people equal. You treat Claudine Gay like the president of UPenn, and oh my God, that's racist. Why? Because people like Al Sharpton, they want equal but special. I ain't down with it. I ain't down with it, not even a little bit. Look, Al Sharpton is nothing but a thug who, and by the way, we can say that now. Ryan Clark made it okay. I don't care what Jamel Hill says. Jamel Hill says, you can't say thug to a black man, kiss my ass. That's all he is. He's just a little old thug trying to hang on to whatever the past was, stay relevant, make some money. That's it. He has absolutely no influence, but I love talking about the Reverend Al because he's so full of shit. I'm sorry, he just is. And it frankly makes me giggle. And I like to giggle. You know, one of the most lovable people now, and it's an amazing world that we live in, one of the most lovable people is Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, because, well, post-George Floyd, is the poster child, he, Barkley, and others, he is the poster child for, hey, look at me. Look at me. I am the good guy. Papa John's Pizza needed a brother. Papa John's Pizza got Shaq. They made him an owner. You can't swing a dead cat without seeing Shaq in a commercial. All right, great. Well, we all know this. A hip-hop artist said Shaq was stalking her and was granted a restraining order. I mean, you know, he's cheated on his wife numerous times. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, let's be honest. Shaq, come on. Well, a former employee of Shaq, and this won't surprise anybody, a former employee of Shaq, here he is saying, hey, look, Shaq don't pay nobody. Shaq don't pay nobody. He's being sued for not paying an employee at his production company who worked on his Oscar-winning documentary, Queen of Basketball. Yeah, that was a really good one. That was Oscar-worthy. Shaquille O'Neal certainly has come across as everyone's best friend, just a big, jovial guy, apparently until he owes you money. He hid from attorneys for months trying to serve him a class action lawsuit over the bankrupt FTX crypto exchange, his endorsements of the company, and now he's basically doing the same with Mr. Wilson, hiding from his financial obligations. It's shameful behavior by a celebrity of his status. All right. There you go. Look, I'm never surprised. I don't care if you're black, you're white. I'm never surprised by any of this stuff. We don't want to talk about it. We just want to say, oh, man, what a great dude. I saw him in a commercial. I see him talking in the NBA stuff and, the Charles, me, I, me, I, me, I. I tell you what, though, I did like his reality show. And I do like the fact that he does nice stuff for people. But I'm not surprised by any of this, and you shouldn't be either. If you see somebody that's a celebrity, and they've got anything, I'm talking about serious stuff in their background, restraining orders, that kind of stuff, just know that's like speeding. You don't get caught the first time you're speeding. And that's not the only thing you did. Now, you can say the same thing about me, Dakich, I've read about you. Yeah, well, telling a woman I won't go swimming with her or knowing the politics of a small town in Indiana and calling it out, yeah, I mean, that's a bad guy, I suppose. Not quite at the level of cheating on your wife, not quite at the level of not paying your employees, not quite at the level of hiding from different servers who are serving you subpoenas and other stuff. I get a kick out of it. I'm sorry, I do. I know we're not supposed to. I know we're supposed to take this stuff very seriously. And, man, Shaq does a lot of good. I'm sure he does. But look, it's simple. Pay your employees. I mean, guy works for you, just pay him. What's the contract say? Pay him. You don't have a contract, don't pay him. But if you got a contract, pay him. I mean, I always say, like, if this attorney wanted to get paid or he wanted to win in the court of public opinion, show me a contract. You got a contract, and pay you. But Shaq has become a megastar, and I get a kick out of it. I do. Shaq was the original. I'll get into this, too. Shaq was the original. Everybody's got to keep a little white guy around. He was. He was the original. When we were filming Blue Chips, he was there, and he had a little white dude around. I forget the name of the guy, but he was his guy. He was his runner. He was getting it done for Shaq. Hey, man, what do you do? Oh, man, I'm Shaq's guy. Oh, okay. So from that point on, I always paid attention to the little white guy hanging. I like the little white guy. The little white guy is always really important. You know what? John Moran had a little black guy, and that guy got him in trouble. You got to make sure your little white guy, you have to. You got to make sure that your little white guy is on the up and up. He can't get you in trouble. Like Chris Carter said, he's got to be more the fall guy than anything else. That's right. Shaq can smile. Pay your employees. Simple. Hey, we like Joe Buck. Joe Buck was at Indiana when I was there for about a minute. I think Joe dropped out to go broadcast. But Joe Buck is coming to Al Michaels' defense. See, a lot of people are on Al Michaels' ass. Maybe rightfully so. I don't know. Al's 172 years old. He stays in the Four Seasons wherever he's at. He demands a lot in his contracts. Hey, maybe he's deserving. I mean, he called the most iconic broadcast in the history of sports, maybe, the Miracle on Ice in 1980, and he knocked it out of the park by, do you believe in miracles? Yes. People still talk about that call all these years later, 44 years later. However, truth of the matter is, I like listening to Al Michaels. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think he's not enthusiastic enough. A lot of people think he doesn't jump up and down, stand on his head, and crap snowballs enough. Hey, I don't know what you want, but I know this. When Al Michaels calls a game, it's a big game. It's an interesting game. I don't know of too many broadcasters that when they call a game, you're like, all right, this is good. I mean, when Tirico calls it, kind of that same way. But Michaels has a deeper history. I mean, we're talking 44 years of hearing that iconic call, seeing Al Michaels on Monday Night Baseball, seeing Al Michaels on Monday Night Football, seeing Al Michaels on big games, Super Bowls, you name it. Al Michaels has done it. Now he's under fire. Joe Buck's not happy. Joe Buck's not happy because apparently NBC, which has some playoff games, did not tell Al Michaels that he wasn't going to be in their lineup. Okay, well, that happens. And it just goes to show, doesn't matter who you are, they'll fire Bob Knight in Indiana, they'll cut Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, they'll not tell Al Michaels that you have been dropped from the playoff roster. Joe Buck's not having it. And this is Joe Buck's time to shine. I mean, he's doing Monday Night Football. People don't hate him anymore. They realize Troy Aikman's the best football announcer out there, and Buck is damn good. But here's the deal. Here's what Buck said. How was he told that he was not doing this playoff game? If you tell me he's known forever and this is the deal that he signed, that's one thing. But to find out publicly and you're Al Michaels, well, here's the deal. Yes, he's Al Michaels. But truthfully, employers don't have any obligation outside of what the contract is. And you pretty much know that it's not personal one way or the other. When they love on you, it ain't personal. When they don't love on you, it ain't personal. It's one of the reasons I like this job. I just feel, hey, maybe everybody's fooling me, but I just feel a personal connection to our entire team. I like them. And I don't feel a personal connection to nothing. I mean nothing. Not a dog, not this jersey over my shoulder, nothing. I just move on to the next thing every single time. But I do feel like this is the most fun job I had because I really like the people around me. I've always liked the people around me, and they me. But the fact of the matter is, they don't owe me nothing. They want to come in tomorrow and say, hey, Dan, we can fire you per your contract. We're going to pay you. Goodbye. I get it. It's the world we live in. All right? Here's Joe Buck further. I'm happy for Noah Eagle. This has nothing to do with Noah Eagle. Ian Eagle, I think, is phenomenal. Noah's great. Up-and-coming star in the business. Take them out of it. How was he alerted to this, talking about Al Michaels? Was this in his deal? Did he know beforehand? Did he find out through social media or through you, Marchand? He's talking to Andrew Marchand, who does a very popular media blog. And if the answer is he found out through you or social media, then I think that sucks. Well, here's the deal. You can think it sucks. So what? It's like I always tell you. If you're a husband or you're a wife and your spouse is mad at you, honey, I know you're mad at me. Tell you what, you stay here and be mad. I'm going to go over there and let you be mad. When you're not mad anymore, we can talk. And then you go about your business. Now, why am I divorced? Maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe that's not the best strategy, but it's an honest strategy. You're mad. And many times in your relationship, when she or he is mad and you try to talk it out and they won't do it, that's when you really hit them with, all right, I get it. You're mad. Try to talk, don't want to, get that too. You stay right here and be mad, and I'll be home in a few hours. If you say I'll be home in a few hours, you know what the answer then is? That opens the line of communications. Where you going? Particularly if you're a woman. If you're a woman and it's like 6 to 8 o'clock at night, maybe even later, and you say, all right, Daddy D, pat me on the head, you're mad. Tell you what, you stay here and be mad. I'll be back in a few hours. That gets you crap in your pants if you're a dude. Now your hot wife is going out for a few hours, and she's going out mad. Huh. That'll get you. Whoa. That'll get you guys. Me, I get a good book, sit down, see if the sack man sent me any bets, and have at it for the evening. I figure at this point in my life, if Lee or anyone's going to run around, go about your business. Seriously. I mean, isn't that how we should be? I mean, what are you going to do? Cry? Well, don't go out. You can't. I know you're seeing Johnny. Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Back to our initial story. And our initial story is Pat McAfee has absolutely nothing. You can turn on X, Twitter, X, whatever, and you can see it. You can close your eyes and go, all right, who is going to be critical of McAfee and Aaron Rodgers? Greg Doyle, of course, little liberal coward, Indy Star, whoever the writer is for the USA Today. Wait, Deadspin, they got to be pissed. Julie DiCarlo, Jesus, what has happened to her? But anyway, she is wow, and she's mad. But she's mad about everything. She's pissed off about everything. I don't even know who the hell she is, and she's pissed off at me. She was pissed off because I was friends with Steve Alford. I am friends with Steve Alford. I don't know what the hell he did at Iowa with Pierre Pierce, and I don't care. It's not my business. But I'm friends with Steve Alford, always have been, always will be. So she's mad at me. She went to Indiana. We are all supposed to, in Julie DiCarlo's world, bend down to Julie DiCarlo. Julie DiCarlo's an idiot. I mean, there's nothing she says that's interesting. She had to protect her tweets because she's such a fool, and she's mad. You know it. Who's mad? Deadspin writer. Either the one idiot, Corone, whatever, or this biggin, Julie DiCarlo. All right, you're mad. Good. Pat her on the head. Go be mad. You just know. You just know. Every time Aaron Rodgers comes on, the liberal, anti-vax, anti-people, angry, cowardly white dude, and the biggin, chubby, yell at my kids because that's what I do as a biggin, Munchausen by proxy promoting, Julie DiCarlo and others are going to be mad. You just know it. Period. I'm sure some of the other women of, Christine Brennan and others are going to be pissed. I'm sure every time Aaron Rodgers, he costs people their lives. Oh, shut the hell up and go away. 350 million people. He's entitled to his opinion. You don't like it, write your crap. But I don't think it's affecting Aaron Rodgers. In fact, I would argue that it is enhancing Aaron Rodgers. It is helping Pat McAfee. I got the biggest bonus of my career when I left Emmis after 3 different articles in the Indy Star were written about what a horrible human being I am. They're all lies, switched around, all that. Who cares? I didn't care. I hope they write another one. This one, I'm sure they'll write about me being a racist when I come back to local radio. It's all good. All I do is cash checks and laugh. And that's all McAfee, that's what I texted him this morning, and Rodgers do. They just laugh. Like, really? Well, we'll be on Tuesday. And you know what really pisses him off? You know what really pisses him off? See that guy there, Rodgers? He's being paid $1 million. Greg Doyle of the Indy Star tried that with us at Emmis. Well, I'm not coming on unless I get paid. I'm like, all right, you're a half-assed friend. I'll try. They laughed at me. He tried it with the afternoon show. They laughed at John. These guys are so jealous. These girls are so jealous of athletes, they can't stand it. And then when athletes, coaches, broadcasters that they don't like do something politically that they don't like, oh, it's on. And that's all Aaron Rodgers does every Tuesday. And Jimmy Kimmel's whining, crying ass ain't gonna sue nobody. Because there ain't nobody to sue. Good for McAfee for being generous and smart enough to pay Aaron Rodgers. Good for Aaron Rodgers for speaking his mind. Jimmy Kimmel, you talk about people every damn night. You make fun of people, and then, of course, once somebody came back at your misogynist ass, you couldn't handle it, and you whine like a little school kid.